Alycat's Indie Viewers. So today is part 2 of my May 2017 favorites. If you're new to the channel and don't know what favorites are, that's where I cover everything I loved in the entertainment industry over the past couple of weeks. And I always split these into 2 parts because I have way too many favorites for anyone's own good. So just, you'll thank me later, I swear. But let's get started with my favorites. For my favorite books this month, go check out my reading wrap-up video where I rated all the books I've read. You'll see there the ones that I've loved, but I'm making that a separate video now just because I feel like it. Now moving on to movies, there actually isn't that many compared to my previous videos because I've been watching a lot of mediocre movies, so if you'd like to see the movies that I don't mention in this video, go visit my blog, alycatgeekery.com, or follow me on Letterboxd, or both for extra brownie points, and you can see why I rate the movies that I don't mention. So the first movie that I really enjoyed this month was Lion. Now, I didn't think it was one of the best films of last year, but I thought it was a very powerful film, and Sonny Pawar as Saru Brierley in his younger years is just heartbreaking. He is such a phenomenal actor at such a young age, and the desperation that you see in his eyes as he realizes that he's been separated from his family and he's in a land where he doesn't know anyone, he doesn't know where he's at. It's just so heartbreaking, and then to see him develop into Dev Patel's adult version of Saru is just incredible, and the fact that he managed to find his family through Google Earth is just even more incredible. The performances are amazing. Nicole Kidman, David Wenham, Dev Patel, Rooney Mara, and Sonny Pawar are all fantastic. And even though some parts of the film did feel a little rushed to me, I really enjoyed Lion. And if it sounds interesting to you, I highly recommend you check it out because it is very inspirational and moving. Next up is one that's probably going to be a little controversial, but that's Alien Covenant. I really enjoyed this film. I enjoyed Prometheus, and this is like a mixture of Prometheus and Alien. But I can see why people don't like this film, but I really enjoyed it. I loved Michael Fassbender as both Walter and David, and I really liked Catherine Waterston's character. A lot of people didn't like her character. I liked it. I liked seeing the xenomorphs again. I liked seeing the neomorph. I adored all the actors. Even Danny McBride did a really good job. I thought this was a gorgeous film, and I really enjoyed Alien Covenant. I know I'm in the minority here, but I really liked it. Next up is Patriot Stay. This is directed by Peter Berg and stars Mark Wahlberg as per the course with Peter Berg films. And this film is based on the 2013 bombing of the Boston Marathon and the aftermath of how the Boston Police Department and FBI are trying to find the Tsarnaev brothers. And this is a very powerful film. I've enjoyed Peter Berg's previous films, but this is a gut punch of a film. I actually started crying watching this, which I did not expect. It's very moving. Again, all of the actors are phenomenal in this film, and this film has an incredible cast, including, again, Mark Wahlberg, but also Michelle Monaghan, Melissa Benoist, John Goodman, Kevin Bacon, J.K. Simmons. Just so many amazing actors and actresses who portray these characters as humans and as multidimensional and nuanced, and you root for the Boston PD and the FBI to find the Tsarnaev brothers and to put a stop to what happened. And the fact that this is a true story is even more heartbreaking. And it's such a powerful film, and Peter Berg knocked it out of the park, and I highly recommend you watch it if you like this kind of film. The next film is one that I consider to be severely underrated, and that is Dummy. Dummy stars Adrien Brody, Mila Jovovich, and Vera Farmiga, and it's a fantastic movie. It's about Adrien Brody's character, who is very socially awkward, so one day he gets a dummy and decides to become a ventriloquist, and through this dummy he is able to socialize with people and express himself more. And it's just very touching. Mila Jovovich gives a really brash, really fantastic performance as his best friend Fanny, and Vera Farmiga, she just knocks it out of the park in everything she's in, and she is so charming and endearing in this film. And I just think this film is something that a lot of people would really enjoy and they just haven't heard of it, but it's definitely something that needs to be watched by more people. The next film up is Christine. No, not the Stephen King killer car movie, but this film is about Christine Chubbuck, the reporter who infamously killed herself on air during the 70s, and it's a very sad movie. And you can see throughout the whole movie the fact that Christine is going in a downward spiral. Things just keep adding up in her life that just keep pushing her down. and you can see where it's heading, but it still shocks you when it actually happens. Rebecca Hall portrays Christine with nuance and respect, and the rest of the supporting cast are great as well, and I think this is a very respectful movie, but also a very powerful movie. And again, another movie that I think a lot of people have not heard about or just haven't watched it but need to watch it. And lastly, in the film category is Gemma Bovary. This is a really cheeky take on the classic novel Madame Bovary, and this film stars Gemma Arterton as the titular character, and she and her husband moved to France and move in next door to this older couple, and this older man is really surprised to learn that the new neighbor's last name is Bovary because he is a huge fan of the novel Madame Bovary. He starts to see parallels between Gemma Arterton's character and the character from the novel. And it's just a really charming film. It's simple, and like they say in the film as they're describing the novel, not a lot happens, but it's fascinating. And that's very true about this film because, again, not a lot happens in this film, but what does happen is fascinating. And it's just so intriguing to see the minutiae of Gemma's life in this film. And I really connected with Gemma's character, Gemma, in the film, because I was just like, I feel that way. Oh my gosh. Ah! And I just found it utterly charming. It's not going to be for everyone's taste. Some people will find it boring or pretentious, but I really loved Gemma Bovary, and I think a certain crowd of people will really enjoy this film. As for TV, I have really loved Twin Peaks Season 3 Revival because I adore Twin Peaks. I love the mindfuckery of it all. I love David Lynch, and seeing Kyle MacLachlan back as Dale Cooper and all the other amazing actors that were in the original production as well as the added actors and actresses is fantastic. And yeah, I'm usually going, what the fuck is going on when I'm watching these episodes? But it's so good. And I'm just like, this is what I wanted out of Twin Peaks Season 3, and this is what I expected from David Lynch, and this is so freaking good! So if you haven't seen Twin Peaks at all, please watch Twin Peaks and then watch Twin Peaks Season 3 because it's fantastic. And for podcasts, I have to give shout-outs to 2. That's 4, Alyssa. 2. The first one up is The Gaming Outsider. I was a guest on this podcast recently and talked about topics such as how Alan Wake will soon be illegal to sell because they're losing the licenses to the songs. We talked about games like Persona 5, NBA Playgrounds, Injustice 2, and then we just had a really good time, and it's such a fantastic podcast. I adore all the guys, and I've become, I think, pretty good friends with Scott. If not, I'm sorry, Scott. And the other podcast I have to give a shout out to, which I've given this podcast shout outs many times, but that's the Horribly Awkward podcast. Again, I was recently on the improv episode with Casey Spivey from Screen Rant and Game of Thrones the Musical, and again, Scott from The Gaming Outsider was on this episode, but I adore Sean, who hosts the Horribly Awkward podcasts, and I would pretty much do anything for him because he's so amazing. But this podcast is just so incredible because there's always improv in his episodes, and he's just so open and uncensored, and he's got such a great personality. It's always so much fun just being on his podcast and to listen to the podcast. He adds sound effects, and he's just such a good guy, and he's so talented, and I love Sean to death. So check out The Gaming Outsider and the Horribly Awkward podcast because they're both amazing guys that host these, and they're fun to listen to and to be on if you're lucky enough to be asked to be a guest. It's just, I love these podcasts to death. And all the music I've enjoyed is listed in the description box down below, so give them a listen, let me know what you think, and let me know what songs you've been enjoying because I always want to know about new songs. And if you like this video, leave a like, let me know again down below what your favorites have been because I like to learn what other people's favorites are because I'm nosy. And if you like the video, make sure to share it because that helps my channel grow. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, but you like what you've seen and heard, hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell to join the Alycat notification squad so you'll be notified always, hopefully always, by YouTube when I upload a new video or start a new live stream. And also, if you'd like to follow me on social media sites, all those are listed down below in the description box. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. You're always my favorite every single month. Peace and kisses. Bye. Sing me a song of a loss that is gone. Oh, hey, you're still here. What a crazy random happenstance. Well, since you just caught me singing and ringing off guard, you might as well click on my floating face that will appear over here soonish and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you'd like to see my previous video, it will be up here somewhere. And if you'd like to see a playlist of videos that you can watch on repeat all day, every day, for the rest of your life, you'll find that over here as well. I'm going to go back to reading my favorite book of all time. Okay, you can go now because I'm really deep into a Jamie Fraser plotline.